I'll call it ZYX logo and save it as an EPS file. And I want only this page, which is page 5. I don't want to export the whole thing. I'm going to open that in Illustrator, and it opened kind of big there. So I'm going to Command Option P, edit artboard, and hit the return key and change this to be 1.5 inches wide by 1/4 of an inch tall. And there it is. And then I'm going to center this to the artboard. So there's my ZYX logo, and I've got an artboard that fits comfortably around it. I don't need an 8.5 by 11 artboard on it. I'm going to Command Shift S, save this as ZYX logo 2C for 2-color, or you could say 2-color, or you could say black and PMS 186, or K 186 to indicate that it's black and PMS 186, any way you want to describe it. After I've saved that, I want to make a change in this. I need this as a 4-color process logo also. And this is typical of identity work. Probably if you design a logo, you need a black and white version of it sometimes. You need a full-color version of it, 4-color process version of it for printing in 4-color process publications, for example, or brochures or catalogs that your company might be doing. Or you might need a 2-color for less expensive printing projects, like if you're just doing 2-color business cards, or you have a 2-color screen print project on some coffee mugs or t-shirts, sweatshirts, golf umbrellas. Sometimes you need a spot color logo. So that was your spot color logo. We need a process colored version of that. And to do that, all I'm going to do is go to my swatches. I'm going to do this, select all of that and say add all selected colors, change this to list view and make sure this is 100% black and nothing else. Here in my swatches, it shows this is a 4-color process model, but it's a spot color because it has this spot symbol in the middle of it. Large list view. It has this spot here. So if I double click on this, it says it's a spot color. It is CMYK mix, but if I change this to process color here, it will now actually separate as a process color, and it shows a screen here to indicate that this will be composed of halftone screens when it makes the color. You know, the color being, what was that? It's 12.55% cyan, 100% magenta, 91.37% yellow, and 3.14% black. Incidentally, before computers, if you wanted to specify a color like this to be printed as a 4-color match, they couldn't do these decimal percentages of colors. They had screens that were in like 5% or 10% increments. So there wasn't that precision of matching a color in screens that were produced the old way. Okay, once I've saved this as 4-color process, you can check to see if that is 4-color process. If you find your separation preview and turn off the magenta, it should look like that. If you turn off the black, it should look like that. Don't leave it in overprint preview because it makes everything run slower. You also lose access to some guides and things like that when you're in overprint preview. It doesn't show them. So once you have that converted, save it again, Command Shift S, save as ZYX logo 4C or ZYX logo CMYK or ZYX logo process so that you know it's a different logo and exactly what logo it is. I'll save that to my desktop. Actually, I could save these as AIs or EPSs. Let me save these as EPSs and let me reopen my 2-color one and save that as an EPS. And I'm done with Illustrator. Going back to InDesign, I can bring my nomenclature back in and snap it to the guides. I can Command D place. I need to find some things and they're on my desktop and they're logos. They're ZYX logos, the EPS versions. I'm going to select that one. I'm going to hold my Command or Control key and select this one. So I have the 2 of those selected and say open. And I now have 2 things loaded in my cursor. I've got this one and that one. And notice they also come in as FPO. These are for position only. These tell you what it is, but it's not what actually prints. What actually prints is the linked file. If I want to see them in quality, I can go to View Overprint Preview, and that will be handy. And I don't need the CMYK one. That's for card number 6. And this is the spot color one for this card. I'm going to bring this down here, attempt to match this up to the other one. And I'd say it's about there. Once I have those matched, I can right click, arrange, send to back, And then this one should be the one that is vector in InDesign, and turn off overprint preview. Yep, that's the one. I'll delete that one because what I want here is a linked EPS file, and that's the end of card 5. I'm going to save this as my last name, DL7A, to my desktop.